So thank you everyone for taking the time to attend this session, which is basically PlanGrid versus Autodesk Build. So introductions here. So again, my name is Scott Burke. I'm the AEC Cloud Solutions Program Manager here at Imagine. So I'm just kind of our key liaison between Autodesk and our technical and sales staff. And I do these types of presentations, help with implementations, do some of the training as well. And we also have here Vince Danielli, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Again, thank you for attending. My name is Vince Danielli. I'm one of our AEC team leads, and kind of like Scott, I manage mostly things related to the Autodesk Construction Cloud. I've got a team of solutions consultants that work on my team that lead implementations of Build and ABC Pro, and personally been with Imagine It for 12 years, and I'm based out of Detroit.
All right. Great. So just kind of introduction for those who may not be familiar with us. So of course we are Imagine It Technologies. We're an Autodesk Platinum VAR. We have 40 plus years of experience in the industry and really hundreds of years of experience with all of our application experts that we have, 35,000 satisfied customers and growing, hopefully. We are one of Autodesk's largest service partners. We have one of the largest teams of technical experts in the industry, over 135. We have a dedicated technical support team, just does tech support. We have the whole team just for those. We have another team, our advocacy team, just to make sure that people are happy, that things are working well for them, the services are meeting their needs and things like that. We have another group that's dedicated to this data management, facilities management, simulation, software development, custom software development, and so on there. We have 32 training centers across the country, both Canada and US, and we have mobile labs that we can send to clients' offices with computers if they need that for training. And we also have our own division called Ascent, which is a division of RAND Worldwide, of which Imagine it's also part of that. And we write pretty much all the training manuals, even our competition uses some of our training manuals. So Imagine has all types of consulting services. Of course, we sell the software, but really we're more about the services and helping our clients to be successful. So we have BIM and CAD management services where we can outsource that role and be the BIM manager for your firm. We have building lifecycle management, CAM services, simulation services, content development, data management, facilities management services, implementation services across the industry from manufacturing to design and construction, process automation, PLM, which is product lifecycle management, which is really part of that. Manufacturing side of things, reality capture division, where we teach you how to use and we sell the laser scanners, and of course we do custom software development. And really our original foundations was really the training and the support, and we have our own support platform as well that you can go ahead and take online lessons, add your own content, and have us manage your content for you and provide a central repository for that training content, both our own and your own customized content. So the agenda today is first to kind of review what is PlanGrid right now, an overview of the Autodesk Construction Cloud, and then talk about the improved workflows and the new features and abilities that are being introduced by Autodesk Build. So right now I'm going to hand this over to Vince here, and he's going to go over to some of the things inside of PlanGrid. So you should be able to share your screen now there, Vince.
All right, so let me see here, and sorry about that. Oh, I'm not seeing the button to share.
Okay, try that. I'll make you try it now.
There we go. That's it. Yeah, I think you had to pass the presenter over. Thanks, yeah. Scott.
They keep changing the way these platforms work. I didn't have to do that before.
All right. Can you see my same
yes, I
slide
can.
here?
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, first we'll start off just a general overview. An assumption that Scott and I made going into this presentation is that probably a majority of the attendees are current PlanGrid users. So you guys are familiar with the platform, you know what it can do, but really what we wanted to establish is a correlation between a lot of the same features that PlanGrid has and how they've been improved in Build. So as you all know, PlanGrid is a construction management tool, field management. I guess in some ways we'll call it a CDE, common data environment, but there are some areas that it lacks in connectivity to an entire design, to pre-construction, to construction, to operations. It's really kind of focused on that one area of construction and maybe sprinkle a little bit of pre-con in there with documentation. But the platform itself has a ton of similarities. And if we just take a look at the user interface, one of the things I wanted to do is just pull up a really quick overview type of slide that shows you that going from PlanGrid and transitioning or implementing Build is probably not as scary as it might seem. Even the interface itself is very, very similar to what we see in the unified platform with Build. So this first slide, landing page for a PlanGrid project. And I just wanted to highlight here what the landing page of a Build project looks like. And as you can see in the interface on the left panel, you have a lot of the same modules that you have access to within the different platforms. And just wanted to make a connection. Sheets, they even use the same icon. So sheets are sheets. Tasks within PlanGrid are the equivalent to issues within Autodesk Build. RFIs are RFIs. Field reports in PlanGrid, those are forms in Build. We've got documents, which are managed through the Files module or the Files tab in Autodesk ACC Build. Photos, submittals, team members, and then settings. So there are a few different areas within Build that we have in addition to those features within PlanGrid that Scott's going to take some time during his portion of the presentation to really highlight the connectivity between all of these different pieces and how it doesn't limit you to just information within the construction management of the project, but how all of these different pieces kind of are connected across the overall Autodesk Construction Cloud. So you can really keep all of that data in one place and manage it through a module that you're probably already pretty comfortable and familiar with, but just kind of opening up connection and permissions and having more control over your projects. And also in addition to meetings, progress tracking, schedule, assets in a bridge component within the Autodesk platform for Build, there's also the cost management. So a whole separate module for tracking project budgets and issuing change orders and forecasting changes to the budget, and some really cool stuff there. So you get that in addition to all of the things within typical PlanGrid. So I'll go ahead, sorry, Scott, before we jump into that, I just wanted to show a couple of things, kind of the big areas where we see improvements, maybe some of the areas where I feel like PlanGrid's a little bit clunky and Build has improved. Scott's going to go through a lot of them, but in general, first off, just from an admin level, when you're in your account hub, you're creating new projects, you're assigning members into or you're bringing members into your system. PlanGrid manages this through a whole separate console that is really disconnected from the project environment. You actually have to go to a different website to get to this admin console that I have open here. And it's from this area that you're able to create new projects, bring users into that project environment, and have some of your different admin controls, like adding users as an account admin to PlanGrid. So these are probably things you guys are already familiar with. You'll see how Build improves on this and how it makes it much easier to kind of jump between working in a project, getting back to your admin controls, adding new people into your hub so you can invite them to your projects through your project admin access. But this is something that I feel like just overall in PlanGrid, it's a little bit disconnected. It's kind of clunky that you have the admin console and then you have a whole separate interface that you have to go to. So I've bookmarked it here for PlanGrid projects, but this is where your projects exist. So similar to what you'll see in Build, you do have a drop-down where you have project access. One other thing that I'll point out here is if you're a subcontractor or if you're working as a consultant on a project that might be hosted outside of your hub, typically you have the ability to switch between company hubs in Build. In PlanGrid, all of your projects, regardless of what hub they're located on, really just show in this full project list. So it's kind of aggregated together into one place, where I actually prefer the separation to know whose hub I'm working in, and in Build you can search through those through that drop down. Cool. I'll jump into this just really quick, point out some things, and then Scott, I'll let you take charge. But some of the areas, probably the most important areas when we do jump into a PlanGrid project, you guys are all aware, within Sheets, we can upload our sheets into PlanGrid. Typically that's done through a PDF upload, and then the sheets are sorted and separated through the Sheets area in PlanGrid. Autodesk ACC has a couple of different workflows to get your sheets into the system, and kind of speaks to that, the connectivity between different design phases of a project or different production phases of a project, where your design teams can actually publish directly to the Sheets area if they're using BIM Collaborate Pro. So you're kind of avoiding that whole process of manually dropping PDFs into a document set. But anyway, I'll just click on one of our sheets here. So a couple of the differences, what you'll see in ACC Build, Autodesk Build in this environment is very, very similar. You have a lot of the same markup tools. PlanGrid refers to issues in this area as stamps. So these little buttons that you see here, these are just different stamps, which are then sorted as tasks within this project environment. So a lot of the same stuff that you do have with stamps is referred to as an issue within Build. But one thing I really want to point out here is that you're limited to the references that you can attach to a stamp within your sheets. So you can place photos and videos to a specific stamp or task, but you cannot apply other references. Scott's going to highlight within Build the kind of the majority or the different options of attaching different types of references to a particular issue or task within a project. That's one of, I think, the key features, something that really drives power behind Build that PlanGrid simply doesn't have. A lot of the information, even though we might be able to access it through a task within PlanGrid, it isn't connected to all of the different parts and references within a project that we can upload. A lot of the markup tools are really exactly the same. Cloud tools, annotation, highlighting different things. And really when you create markups, it's the same process in Build. If you create a markup, if you want to keep it to yourself, you can keep it to yourself, or you can choose to publish it to the project so anyone that opens up that sheet can see your markups. Probably one of the issues with both PlanGrid and Build is that you can't group your markups together to an issue. So it's kind of more of a, if your issue is close to a revision cloud, you just assume that based on its proximity, that markup, that annotation relates to the issue that you're pinning or placing nearest to it. But PlanGrid doesn't do that any differently. The markups are kept separate than the stamps that are being placed. If we take a quick look at the tasks here, just jumping from the sheets to the actual tasks, this is the equivalent, like I mentioned, to issues within Build. So even though it's a different name, it's not going to be shocking when you guys choose to actually start a Build project. The layout looks the same. It's actually, I think, a bit more elegant in Build and easier to understand and create different issue types. So within tasks, we have all of our tasks that have been created within this project. So we get this overall task list. We can filter out based on a few different things, like an ID number, keywords that are assigned to that stamp, status, who it's assigned to, etc. We do have actual different stamp types. So these are like different issue types that you would generate in PlanGrid. Again, it's just a different name. And you'll see this within Build, but you can create different stamps pretty easily here. Oops, sorry. And S for new stamp, and then just call it. And it essentially just creates a different stamp type for your sheets that you can place. So as you're reviewing your sheets, you know what your kind of standard issue types or stamp types are in PlanGrid. And then you can create different root causes. So we'll see that in Build. One thing that is definitely, I think, a little bit clunky here in PlanGrid is that for any of the reports, when you issue or when you place a stamp within a sheet in your, tasks tab, in order to create a report, we can select our different issues or tasks and choose to export. And then this pushes out to a report. There's no automation behind this. You have to manually pick and choose, or via filter, pick which issues you're creating in a report. And then you can export those as a PDF or an Excel file. So again, probably for most of you that are involved in using PlanGrid, this is nothing new to you. I won't take too much more time here. I've kind of probably chewed over my portion of the presentation already, but creating RFIs, this is probably the big thing with RFIs and submittals. There's a lot more clicking involved in creating a new RFI or a new submittal within the PlanGrid system. It's more streamlined in Build, absolutely. And then one other thing that I think is a big problem, the documents are not as powerful. So this type of system in PlanGrid essentially just serves as a file dump within a PlanGrid project for different documents. You don't have the same level of permission controls within a PlanGrid project. And also one thing that I kind of find pretty, I wouldn't call it ridiculous, but it's just, it's interesting. When you are creating or when you're uploading things like photos or different documents to a project, in other areas like a task, jump back to a task. If I just want to assign a photo that I've already stored within my project to a task, it doesn't just give you the ability when you go to add to just pull it from the photo that's has been uploaded in that project. So this project, we have a number of different photos that have been uploaded to it. The only way that I can get that into a task is by dragging and dropping it from a folder location on my computer or browsing on my computer. There's no button in here like you'll see with Autodesk Build to just reference what you already have loaded in the project. So just a few things I find kind of peculiar about PlanGrid, and without getting too far into it, I think that's a decent overview of looking at some of the areas that are similar between both platforms. So Scott, I will try to do this, change you to the presenter.
All right.
I don't know why it's not passing over here. Cassie, do you have to make him the presenter? Because I'm trying to right click.
Yeah, let me see if I can do it. There you go, Scott, you should have it now.
Thank you.
All right, good. So you can see my screen, I'm assuming here.
Yep, looks good.
Okay, great. So what I want to start with here is just an overview of the Autodesk Construction Cloud, of course, right? So over the past couple of years, Autodesk has acquired many different programs, Assemble Systems, PlanGrid, which is almost, I think it's getting up almost in 3 years ago, it feels like. And these are all, and Autodesk had their own product called BIM 360, which was already very robust, powerful, worked quite well. And then they saw that PlanGrid had some other tools and utilities that were good in it. So they basically acquired that, and they realized that they couldn't just incorporate PlanGrid into BIM 360. So they created the new Unify platform to basically bring everything together. So initially, they had invested in these programs, and they did build some meaningful integrations. There were plugins that could transfer data between the platforms, but that wasn't really true integration. So about almost 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago, they introduced a unified platform, which is basically taking all the good parts of BIM 360, all the good parts of PlanGrid, and integrated them into a new platform, and they call this a unified platform under the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So the Autodesk Construction Cloud is not a product. BIM 360 is the Autodesk Construction Cloud. Autodesk Build is the Autodesk Construction Cloud. It's all under that umbrella term. So Autodesk Build, which is the new product that is the combination of all these good tools that they've acquired and brought them together into a unified platform. And that's where we are now with Autodesk Build. So essentially PlanGrid is, I don't know if I want to use the term discontinued, but you can't buy PlanGrid anymore. You can only buy Autodesk Build. But if you're still using PlanGrid when you buy Build, you can get entitlements to whatever licenses you need in PlanGrid. And you're going to continue using PlanGrid for any projects that you started in PlanGrid. But because you have access to Autodesk Build, all your new projects, if you're the host of the project, of course, should be in Autodesk Build. There is no reason not to do that, and every reason not to have it in PlanGrid, to be honest. So first of all, what I want to focus on is just the new and improved, or just the improved workflows, not just the new features. So when we look under document management, the document management tool inside of Build is far more powerful than anything in PlanGrid. It's a universal viewer. It'll view like 30, 40 different file types. It's fully BIM integrated. There's no BIM at all in PlanGrid. It has much better and comprehensive permission control. You can be very granular about what you have access to. Then when we look at the project management side of things, there are whole new tools. There's meeting minutes, there's schedules, there's all those other things that are in there. And then the workflows for RFIs, submittals, and all those things, and even docs and so on, much more streamlined, much more control. When we look at the field collaboration, we still have all the same things. We're able to see the documents in the field, including the models now, the sheets and drawings, all the photos and videos and documents and issues and RFIs and submittals are all available in the mobile. You can see everything out there. When we go to quality and safety, those really didn't exist inside of PlanGrid. Yeah, you could create a safety form, you could create a quality form, but there was no way to tie questions and to issues and things like that, so that this wasn't a lot of power there. And then there's whole new features, cost control, that doesn't even exist whatsoever in PlanGrid. It's an incredibly powerful cost management system within Build for controlling all your change orders, keeping your project in budget, payment applications. There's all types of things that it does that it's not meant to be an accounting system and replace your accounting system and timesheets, mind you. This is about the budget and the things that affect the project and the bottom line of the project itself. Then there's a whole commissioning module for asset management and handing over all that information to the client when the project is done. So really that first thing here is the document permissions and the permission systems inside of Build. So when I jump in the Build here, it looks the same. You see I have all the modules here, except you notice there's a lot more modules now. Even the home page looks pretty much the same. If I go into files, which are the documents, right? Here I have incredibly robust management systems. I can go into an area here and go to permission mode, and I can see which users have permission to these folders. I could go down into I could start my design process here too. That's the other part of this, that Build is just built upon the Autodesk Construction Cloud, the unified platform. So you start your design work, and if you're a design build firm, you can move directly from design and all your design documents and history and issues and everything, and just move into Build, and then start constructing the building. Or using Autodesk Bridge, the Bridge tool, you could transfer data directly to a general contractor's site and then give them all the required information that they would then take that information and create their build project from that. But still coming from your site, just directly transferring it. I don't have to download it first and then upload it. You can push your data as a designer directly into your general contractor's site directly, which is a huge benefit right there. And if I look at these other folders here, if I look at my MEP team folder in the design side, see, I've given my MEP engineer certain rights to just that folder, and that's the only folder they see as far as they're concerned. So I can go to every single folder and control either by the company that someone has access to, and this is all the members of the company that now have edit rights, download rights, view and only rights, view, upload, edit, publish markups. The level of control that I have in this compared to PlanGrid is almost unprecedented because there's so much of it, so much more control that I just do not have on the PlanGrid side. So that's one of the key things here. Also, this is a universal viewer. I can open up Word files, I can open Docs files, I can open up MicroStation files, Navisworks files, I can open up a Revit model and have full access to the model on the PC or even in the field. I can go to the different sheets in the model if I need to go to the different sheets in that model. So I have access to this. I don't have to transfer it to PDF. I can even then take the PDF, the Revit model here, select it, and directly turn it into the sheets, which are one of the main parts of Build for managing your sheets, right? And when I go to the settings for sheets, I have a full permission control here too. There's so little permission control. It's almost all or nothing in PlanGrid. Where here I can be very explicit. I'm going to let everyone view the sheets because everyone has to view the sheets, but they could go further higher up and say, hey, this company could have more control or less control, and again, base that on a company, the name of someone, or just base that on a role. I could say project managers. So project engineers, project managers as a role might have a higher level of access to this folder. As you can see, now I have username, company, role, lots of permission control. So if anything, that's one of the most important improvements I think over PlanGrid is this. Otherwise, everything kind of works the same. I mean, you have your sheets, you import them the same way. It's almost the same functions. There's very little learning or transition training that is even needed here. But one thing that's also important here is that everything's consistent here. They use two different names for the same things in PlanGrid, stamps, issues. No, they're just issues right here. This is issue. I type in a design issue. I place my design marker, my design issue right there. It's still an issue. Now, issues here are not necessarily a problem. They're really issues. Look at them as action items. Even tasks don't describe it right. So this means it could be a good thing. It could be just a request for someone to do things. I have all the same settings that you might see in PlanGrid, but now I have even more. I can get down here and I can take from an issue that's on a drawing and directly connect it to any photo that is either uploading a new or just use the photos that are in the system and attach ones that I've already uploaded to the system. I can attach an issue to a file, to a schedule item, to an RFI, to an asset, to a form, to a submittal, to a potential change order directly. If I go to RFIs, I can connect this issue directly to an RFI or create a brand new RFI right here. So this is huge right there, the connectivity that everything can be connected here. I can attach it to an asset. Maybe this issue is related to a VAV box, and I attach it to that, and I add that asset to it. Or maybe this issue is an instruction for someone to fill out a punch list in this room. I could connect that to what we call forms here, which is the same as the reports, and I might have a daily report, a daily safety inspection, a carpentry punch list that has to be done, or create a brand new form from my library of available forms for this project. So again, huge advantages of the complete interconnectedness, if that's even a word, for all the things in the system. And even the fact that I can list easily here. Here are all the issues that are on this sheet. Here are all the markups that are on the sheet, who did them, when they were done. Select the markup. It would, basically zoom in on the markup and so on there when I go to these different, pieces on this particular drawing. So again, huge advantage there. But then we look at the RFI process here. So much more control here, much more streamlined process. Again, when I go into Build and I want to create an RFI, it's one click. All I have to do is say create RFI, and that's it. In PlanGrid, there are like 6 different steps I feel like you have to go through. Well, here I just answer the questions. Is it open? What RFI number it is, give the RFI a title, what workflow, because now I have options of a single reviewer or a double reviewer workflow, which person is allowed to review this as 2 people I can select that are in that role. I can have co-reviewers to allow people to help with the review. I can set a location of where this review might be happening. This RFI might be related to somewhere. I have a question, a suggested answer. And again, this is the best thing about Build, is the fact that I can connect the RFI to a file, to a sheet, to a photo, to a potential change or an asset, submittal, form, right from here. So I don't have to create these things first. I don't have to upload new files. I can attach a photo, upload a new one, or use the photos that are already in the system. So again, this interconnectivity is one of the strongest things within this product. And I just create it and it's done, it's created. And then I can see an RFI here, this one's answered. So this is an answered one. We see the steps, submitted, reviewed. This is in the answered or approved. So now the manager has to go through here and close and distribute the RFI or return it. All the information is right here. Issues that are assigned to this RFI, sheets that are assigned to the RFI, files, a spec is assigned to this RFI, all from this one little dialog box here. Or down here, this one's in review. You can see the stage it's in right here. The reviewer is Sam Smith. He is the one responsible for submitting this particular review. He could come in here, submit his official response, put the response in there, mark this as answered, and then submit it. So we always know what stage things are in. We have all the data. Everything about it is in one single place. So that, again, that's that strength, in this product here. Same with submittals. Much, much more streamlined, much fewer steps to create those submittals here. So again, when I go to submittals, the only thing I have to do is, I would preset what spec sections I want to have in here. Or I can just go right to items, create a submittal item, create a whole new spec section, or pick a spec section that already exists, give it a title, give it a description. If I want to, I can include it in a package or not. Packages are not even required. Pick my type. Is it attic stock? Is it shop drawings, reports, samples? What is it, right? And you can basically come in here and change the list and do whatever you want. Product data. When's it due? So basically I have this one dialog box that I just come in, I fill out everything I want, require date, approval date, whatever. Assign it to a contractor to do, or create it and then add the items to it. I create that, it gets assigned to that contractor. Right here, this is waiting for submission. The contractor gets this, they have to come in here and they upload their attachments to it. Any other reference documents they want to put in here, they upload the data, they submit it, it goes to the manager. The manager sees that the data is there, manager pushes it to the reviewer. And the reviewer goes through it, does whatever they need to do. This one's in review. See the stage we're in. So now that the person who's going to be reviewing this is going to open the document, the shop drawing, they can review that, or whatever this information is that they need to review. They can come in here and they could mark it up. So maybe they need to say, hey, this needs to be fixed, they have a question about that, whatever they want to do, right? Mark it up. And then when you're done, if it's good, I could create a stamp. I could either upload a standard image that I have or create a stamp. Okay, what type of stamp do I want? Oh, this looks like an approved as noted stamp, sure. Looks good, but see my comments, the color, create the stamp. Now I can stamp this drawing as approved or rejected or whatever you basically want to do. And then I can come in here and I can take that stamp, place it on the drawing. I can control its size, any size I want there, place it somewhere on the drawing that won't, maybe interfere with something, whatever. And then I would save this, and this becomes another copy of the drawing. So there's the original, and then there's the copy here that I already have done this point right there. See, this is the same drawing, but this is the one that is included as the official response, because this is the one that I've already reviewed and I've stamped it already. And then that gets reviewed. You create your official response, approved as noted, revise it and create a revision. These are the documents I'm including as the official response. Incredibly streamlined process here. So easy to go through this. It walks you through the steps. And then I could look at a closed one right here. This one, here's the official response. There's the approved document. Here's the history of the RFI. It's all here, and it's all at my fingertips, and it's a very streamlined process. Issue management, the same thing, and that's what I was related to here, is that under issue management, when we look at that system and we call these issues, here are all your issues. I can create issues from a sheet, or I can just create an issue here. Once again, answer your questions, create it, you're done. If you look at an existing issue, I can select any of these existing issues right here, where I see problems, clashes, any of these things that I basically created, any of these types of issues. I can turn off the filters here. I want to see all my issue types there. So instead of just clash issues, I could see, anything. And I see a design issue here. If it's related to a drawing, I would be able to click on that. It would take me to it. I can attach issues to photos, the files, the schedules, all these other things. So again, it's that interconnectiveness, for all of this that is so key. And here's the drawing that particular issue is related to. And it takes me to, in this case, an AutoCAD file, and to the issue in that AutoCAD file right there. Zooms in right to it. And this is actually in files, not even sheets. Or this could be a sheet issue or whatever. So again, that's another, really huge advantage here, is that integratedness of everything. And then we start looking into all the new features, document reviews, meeting minutes, all of these things. So I can jump in here. So if I go over to just docs, jump into the docs area, I can place documents through a review process where I have a document here. This one started, and it's what stage is it? It's in the initiator, and it's waiting for this person to review a document and then submit their review. I have other ones that might have multiple steps, in those. This one's open, and again, it's waiting for someone to finish their review. Look at one of these other ones here. This review is closed. This is the document. It's been approved. There's comments in here. I can take a look at the comments there from the different people who are participating in this specific review. So I have completely new tools that just don't even exist inside of the PlanGrid environment that, of course, are in Build. Then I could move into the next area here, which are the meeting minutes. And the meeting minutes, there's a whole mechanism now to manage all your meetings, all the items in the meetings, invite people in it who attended the meetings, what items were discussed. You can attach the items within the meetings themselves to other individuals. So I can come in here and have a meeting. I can have a series of meetings in here, like my site work preparations meeting. There's been 4 meetings or 3 meetings so far, 1 meeting that hasn't happened yet. When I go into those meetings, I have the people who were attending that meeting right here, the organizer of the meeting. This is marked as minutes. I can print this out. I have the things that we discussed. Items were closed, items were ongoing, new items were opened. And anything that is open or ongoing, when I create meeting number 2, they move towards it. They just get copied to the next one. This individual meeting item was assigned to Sam Smith. It was assigned a due date, has 2 references. It's references to some sheets here, or I can attach right to a meeting item things that it's referring to. So when I actually go to one of the meetings here, this meeting is the agenda because it hasn't happened yet. And I can add an assignee, a due date, attachments, or references, and have a meeting minute attached to a file, a sheet, an RFI, an issue, attach it to an existing issue, or create a whole new issue for this item, or even go in and the same there. If I attach this to, let's say, an RFI, either attach it to an existing RFI or create from the meeting. While I am in the meeting, I could create the RFI, and these are my meeting minutes. And the key here is, if I want to make sure I'm not missing items, I don't want to open up 100 meetings and try to find the things we haven't resolved yet, right? Items. This is all the meeting minute items from every meeting that have yet to be resolved. I'll filter that. Only show me meeting minutes that are set as ongoing and open. So these are the items here that we have yet to resolve or have a solution to. All the other things we've discussed in the meetings are resolved. So without me having to open every single meeting, I can come in here and see all the things that have yet that are still open that need to be done. I could filter it by a due date, filter it by who they're assigned to, or just their status. Or maybe I have certain things that are flagged because they're really important. This one's been flagged as an ongoing issue, and we need to fix that. So these are all completely new tools that don't exist in PlanGrid. So quality planning, there are forms, of course, right, inside of the tool. So I have quality assurance, quality control, punch lists, safety inspection. So you can still kind of do these in PlanGrid, but it's kind of primitive. When I look at the one here, I have the same functions for forms. Those are almost identical when it comes to PDF forms that you already want to use. But what I want to focus on is these question type of forms. Now I look at this form here. Now, just like in PlanGrid, I can at least attach an issue to this. But here, I can attach the form to a photo, to an issue, to a file, to a form, to an asset. Plus, I have conditional logic. And notice that to this issue, I could assign a photo to this one individual question in this form, attach an issue to the question, attach a note to this. And if I hit no, oh, well, it's conditional logic. I can't submit the form until I attach an issue to it or attach a photo. And you can build conditional logic into yes or no, multiple choice, and only certain answers might require photos or require that an issue is required, and other answers to that multiple choice don't require those things. So there's all types of conditional logic that you can build in, and you decide, is it the yes answer that provides or requires an issue, or is it the no answer that requires an issue, or maybe even NA requires an issue? You notice NA and yes, no issue. No, I have to create an issue. I can't submit the form otherwise. So this right here is a huge advantage over PlanGrid, is that each question can have its own issue and it's related to that question. And or I can attach the form itself to an asset and say, this VAB box is required to be, this form needs to be filled out for this VAB box, right? Or this piece of equipment or whatever it is. So that's, again, one of the other huge advantages here. Scheduling. So this is not a scheduling tool per se. What this allows you to do is it allows you to upload your Microsoft Primavera or project, Microsoft Project or Primavera schedules, and now you can share the schedule with the entire team. Anyone can come to the web page here. Here's the latest schedule. If you have those types of permissions, you have the ability to go into a suggestion mode, to pick a particular item in the schedule, like maybe this column, and say, hey, this one right here, I need to suggest that there's going to be a change, right? So I have to go in here and I can go in and say, this particular form here, it needs to be changed. There's a delay going on here. So I'm basically in a suggestion mode, and I can come in here and I can say here that, hey, I need to delay this. And then I need to say, is there a cost impact? Yes. The root cause of the delay is there's a code compliance issue. Come in here and enter in that data and add that in. And then I can review that. This is what I'm suggesting to the manager, and I'm going to submit it to the manager. And he's going to see that delay, and then he can see that. So as a manager, I can review any suggestions to any of my schedule items. I look at that. I agree that that should be changed. I will mark this as allowed first, and that will let that person know that I've allowed the change. Then I will open Microsoft Project, adjust the schedule, upload a new one, and then come in here. I mark it as completed, and I can even add a note there. And then that person gets notified that, hey, I've agreed to your change, and now I've just updated the schedule. And now everyone on the team, if they want to see the schedule, they go to the central source of truth. They go right here, and there's my construction schedule. And you could have different schedules for different aspects of your project as well, or one master schedule, whatever you want to do. So this is not meant to edit the schedule. You still use your tools that are good at that. You upload the schedule, and this becomes the only place people go to see the schedule. This is the official place for it. Again, incredibly powerful tool, moving everything into Build. Then, as I mentioned before, the bridge tool simply allows me, instead of dropping files into Dropbox to send to my contractor or my outside party, they can just invite me into their project, and then I can push my sheets, my documents directly into their site, that then they can then take those things and work with them for the construction projects. So this, instead of doing a silly, I already have it in the cloud, why would I have to download it and re-upload it, right? This allows me to, when I have a different project that someone else, instead of me doing design build, I'm a designer and we've hired a general contractor, let me take all relevant documents and send it directly to their construction project in one click. Can't be easier than that. Really powerful tool for collaboration, right? And again, moving on here. And then there's all the cost management tools. And I'm not an expert in cost, so I can't really demo this, but I'll show where these features are though. So budget creation, contract administration, change orders, payment applications, cost forecasting. I can create and import budgets, create contracts, have my own customized documents and forms in here that integrate with the system, and it will fill out automatic fields for you. I can understand it, potential change orders, owner change orders, requests for quotes. supplier change orders, things like that, and manage that whole process, making sure that my project is staying on budget or getting approvals from the owners when things have to increase because changes happen or whatever. Payment applications, expenses related to that part of the project. So again, this is not meant to replace your general ledger or your accounting systems and timesheets. That's not what this is for. This is for just the budget, the change orders, and everything related to the construction process, right? Cost forecasting and so on. All of that is part of the system. So again, that's just related right here. I can go in and I can go into cost management and all the things I may or may not have set up for the budgets here. Cost change orders, forecasting, files that are part of this was just your documents area. Specific reports that are for just cost management and things like that. But really here, when you look at budget, you create your budget. You create your own budget codes, whatever you want. You have your budget codes you create, your main contract over here, your budget payment applications here. You have full control over, what people see in this environment, right? I have cost payment applications. I can bring my own forms and things in here. Expenses. I have forecasting tools here. Here are my change order management for. I would have a list of potential change orders or a request for a quote, or just an owner change order or supplier change order, cost items. So I can come in here and manage all of this from this one page. And again, when I go back into Build here, and the cost is part of Build, so you get it if you want to use it there. And I look at an issue, the issue could be something that creates a change order or creates a potential change order, right? So right down here, when I add references, I can connect this to a potential change order that either exists or create a potential change order right here and connect it to that. So that becomes a huge advantage of that interconnectivity of everything here. And then one of the biggest parts here, of course, is, or another important aspect is the project closeout, the commissioning tools, the asset management here, and turnover documentation. So if I jump back in here, I have my assets. And assets are really anything that you want to track an installation process on. So that could be HVAC equipment like this, air handling units, air handling unit 1. What's its stage right now? It's installed. Okay, here's a category that it's in. Are there any references? Oh, this is connected to this form that must be filled out. Or I could actually connect this to a schedule item and so on. So I could actually go in and connect things in the schedule tool here. If I have a piece of equipment, HVAC, whatever, and I type in, maybe I want to type in HVAC here. And I pick this rooftop unit. And I could take that rooftop unit here and I go to references and attach it to an asset. So I would attach it to the rooftop unit, right? So I go in here, maybe it's just this VAV box or this rooftop unit, whatever. I can do a search for whatever I need to do there, load more, lets me to see more of the items. So maybe this is air handling unit 3. And I've added that asset to that. So now that schedule item is related to this piece of equipment and this piece of equipment there. So again, the interconnectivity of everything in the system is one of its strongest benefits there. So these are all my assets. Anything I need to know about that piece of equipment is here. I could actually put a barcode on it, be in the field with my tablet, scan a barcode, and it would take me to that specific piece of equipment. And then I could work on that. And here are the forms I have to fill out and so on, activity log. And then I could, hey, we've just finished testing this, right? So we go back and have just finished the testing process. So now we're moving to the next stage, which is pre-startup. And now we're in that stage. And then at the end, I can just pick all of these items, all categories, pick everything, and then create a report. I can export out here a PDF or CSV report of all my assets, that what their stages are, what's for handover documentation, whatever. And related to that, when I'm done with my project, I go over here to settings and I use my as-built report tool. Create a new as-built export the sheets, the current sheets and all the published markups, all the closed RFIs, all the closed submittals, all the files, all the issues. So these things here can be automatically created into a giant zip file and sent to a client, and then other things I can collect all the data and easily send that off. So it just reduces the handover process to just a few steps instead of dozens and dozens of steps. And then really here, the other part of this is the insights, the reporting, the metrics that I can now get from my project here. So I have customizable dashboards. I have my home page. I have automated reports that not only can I send a report to a consultant, I can schedule reports to be sent daily, weekly, monthly to people in and outside of the project. They don't even have to be a member of the project to get a report. All the issues for this contractor that are past due, all the issues that are due this week, all the issues that are assigned to them this month, and so on. Issues, RFIs, whatever you want. Create my own dashboards for my project so I can see, does this project have any risk associated with it? Do we have a lot of issues that are unanswered? I have executive dashboards where an executive can come in here and see the issues across all my projects in one place and see if my attention needs to be drawn to a specific project that is having issues. There's also a data connector that I can download all the data and have that data dumped somewhere. I can download that and then connect it to Power BI and even put those Power BI dashboards on my dashboards within the system. Autodesk even provides a lot of templates now, which is a new feature for those dashboards. So if I go to reports here real quickly, these are reports that I've already run. Here are my templates. Here's my all issue report right here, all open issues. And this one here has been filtered and scheduled to show all the open issues, and it's being sent specifically to my MEP subcontractor. And if I edit the schedule is being sent every Monday and Friday at 5 a.m. So this is being sent out automatically, weekly, to these two individuals, and I could also type in email addresses to anyone else that's not even in the system, and they would receive those PDF reports. The report itself, I have filtered it to be a status of open and only those issues that are assigned to the MEP installers. And then I could come in here and set up a date range. This is just open issues. I could set up other ones and show anything that's past due if that's what I want to do. I can include a cover page, a table of contents, custom fields, and comments that are in these things will be included in the report. There'll be a multi-page report. It would show all the issue items. Any photos that are attached to those issues would be on the reports. A location of any of those things would be shown on the report. Here's my report log. This is the last one I ran. I can come in here and I can download the report. We'll download that report there. We can open up this MEP detail report. Here's the cover page, my company's logo. There's a table of contents. There's the issue. It even does an automatic screen cap of where the issue is located on a plan if it's derived from a plan. And if there are any photos, like in this case, a clash or whatever, those photos are going to show up in these reports just like that. In this case, these happen to be clash issues right here. This one's an actual sprinkler head that needs to be moved here. Here's the location of the sprinkler head. It's a design issue. John Jones is responsible. It was created on November 5th. It's on this plan right there and so on. It's in the produce section of this grocery store, what this is. There's a photo I took in the field. I even marked the photo up and say, hey, this needs to move over there. This is what the reports will look like, typically like that. So all reports that are created are collected here, and the templates are where you schedule them. And then as I mentioned here, I can jump into the insights, and now I have insights to this project. Every person has their own insight page, and it only shows you the things that you have permission to see. Now, as a manager, I have permission to see everything. These dashboards here, like my dashboard, and these are the things address the weather, the safety risk today, quality risk today, design packages that were released, project RFIs and their statuses. But again, I only see the things that I have permission to see. If I don't have permission to see these things, I don't see them here. You can connect your own third parties like Matterport. A lot of firms use Matterport on-site job cameras. So I can add that to my dashboard here. And now I have access to walk around in the Matterport environment. So now I have access to walk in my building from here on my common dashboard for everything. So this is just a third-party application. This is not Autodesk. You need to purchase that, and that's a separate tool. But again, you can customize your interface, move the cards around, go to the card library, and in the card library, you can look at partner cards. And these are all the third-party partners that Autodesk works with that can be integrated into your dashboard. You know, there's probably 100 different firms and companies in here. You can also create your own dashboard's official project dashboard. This is a dashboard I created for the team. Everyone has access to this. So this is a specific dashboard I created. Hey, I'm a principal of the company. I'd like to just give my executive overview dashboard. Let's go there. This is my executive dashboard here for my company, for all my projects. So now I can instantly see, do I have any high risk projects, medium risk project, low risk project? Where are they located in the country here? So I have 9 low risk projects, 1 medium risk and 0 high risk. And here's my medium risk project, and it's this one here. And I could go directly to that. I could see high quality risk issues across all my projects. I have a Power BI dashboard I've listed here, approval reviews, safety checklist activity, conformance. I have, this is just my major risk page right here. I could look at cost risk across all my projects. I could look at design risk across all my projects. I can look at quality risk across all my projects. That's the key here, is this is across, all of your projects. And then I could drill down to those individual projects from here if needed. As I mentioned before, the data connector allows me to run an extraction of all the data across all my projects as a zip file. I can download that zip file and feed it into Power BI and then place those Power BI dashboards on those home pages. And Autodesk right here now provides Power BI dashboards and downloads right here. Pre-configured reports are already for you. The beauty of these types of reports is they're totally up to you. You can completely configure them to show whatever data you want, but Autodesk has given you the courtesy here of automatically creating these for you, so you have a start point now, so you don't have to create it completely from scratch. So this is a brand new feature here.
Hey Scott,
so
yeah, getting really close to the top of the hour here, so there were some questions that were coming in. I think perfect, good timing.
Yep, no, I was just finished. That was the last item, and I was going to now open it up for any questions.